Our planet is home to an incredible variety of creatures, ranging from the fierce and dangerous to the irresistibly cute. But some animals belong to a category all their own, so rare and elusive that most people have no idea they even exist. These hidden wonders have managed to avoid zoos and remain far from civilization, making them some of the hardest animals to spot in the wild. From pink armadillos to deep-sea nightmares, here are 15 creatures you never knew existed. Number 15. Pink fairy armadillo. You must know that armadillos exist, but there's a high chance you've never come across a pink fairy armadillo, which is the most unique species of armadillos. Definitely an eye candy, but that's not the only reason it is considered special. You see, apart from its pink dorsal shield and tufts of white fur that make anyone fall in love at first sight, this creature is very hard to come by. According to studies, only a few people have seen the pink fairy armadillo alive, and throughout the world we have just about 100 of them alive. It prefers to stay hidden underground, which has made it difficult for researchers to study widely about it. On the surface, though, scientists have been able to determine that the pink fairy armadillo is the smallest species of armadillos on the planet. But what they could not see over the years of studying this creature is that it has an unusual type of skin. The pink fairy armadillo surprisingly has a double layer of skin, which was only discovered by looking through the skin using a microscope. This second layer of skin lies underneath the armadillo's pink dorsal shield, which makes this species unique from other known 19 species of armadillo that possess a single layer of skin on their back. Although no other adult armadillo species have been found with the pink fairy's type of skin, the juvenile armadillos of other species have a skin that closely resembles the pink fairy. The most amazing part of the pink fairy armadillo's life is that it was not always with a double layer of skin. Since existence, its double-layer skin, which makes it stay safe while burrowing underground, is a unique adaptation believed to have emerged when it switched from a terrestrial to a subterranean way of life between 32 to 17 million years ago. Spending so much time underground is hard enough for scientists. Catching it is worse because they never survive for more than 8 days under human care. Seems we just have to respect the pink fairy armadillo's privacy if we really want to preserve the species. Number 14. Pistol shrimp. Being called a shrimp only makes you imagine yummy food but not strength and intimidation. But there's one little weird wonder of the sea known as the pistol shrimp that dramatically crushes the stereotype. Just as its name implies, it shoots, only that it doesn't have a real gun. It's so powerful it not only shoots and annihilates its prey, it has thrown the US Navy off track, landed a superhero role on Netflix, and even helped researchers make strides in fighting climate change. Pistol shrimp, also known as snapping shrimp, earned their seed by creating bubbles that are seemingly childlike and innocuous. But these definitely aren't your ordinary bubbles. They make a sound louder than a gun and generate massive amounts of heat. Pistol shrimp shoot these deadly bubbles to kill prey, jackhammer into the rock to create burrows, or protect said burrows from other jealous shrimp. They do not need a fancy holster or to stock up on ammo. Their gun is built right into their one oversized snapper claw that can grow to be half the size of their tiny body. Surprisingly, the monstrous sound isn't actually caused by the parts of the claw impacting each other but rather by the force and speed at which the water is shot out. The speed is as fast as a car traveling down the highway, creating a powerful bubble that not only kills what's in its path, but creates a ridiculously loud sound when it pops. These bubbles have been measured at 218 decibels, which is louder than a speeding bullet. To us humans, the sound isn't actually that loud, but that's due to the blast only lasting a tiny fraction of a second. When the bubble pops, it generates heat that reaches 8,000 degrees Fahrenheit and is 4 times hotter than lava, which dissipates at rapid speed. This means there are no lasting effects except to the unfortunate small creature that gets hit. Number 13. Eye. With the face of a possum, the tooth of a mouse, and the ear of a bat, the eye looks like a creature straight out of a mythical movie. No wonder it holds the record of the world's weirdest primate. With all its glorious weirdness, the eye is a lemur that exists in a taxonomic family of its own, which simply means it has no next of kin. Oh, and did we mention that middle finger? Creepily long enough to freak out any prying eyes and poking nose. Initially, the eye misled the scientists with its constantly growing incisors, strong enough to chew through cinder blocks. Because of the incisors, scientists initially misclassified the eye as a rodent until further study showed that it is, in fact, a lemur. But while scientists were confused by the eye, it terrified the natives of Madagascar, where it was discovered. According to local lore, eyes bring bad luck and death and must be killed on sight. They were so terrified by it that the name eye is derived from a phrase that means, I don't know, in Malagasy because the locals were afraid to speak its name. Sadly, this has only led to the death of so many eyes that they are now listed as endangered animals, only kept alive by law. Also known as the world's largest nocturnal primate, this lemur spends the night eating and traveling the forest but sleeps excessively during the day in spherical nests made of leaves and branches. Number 12. Glass frog. Just as the name implies, this creature actually looks like a thing made of glass. If you flip it over, you definitely can see their bones, innards, and beating heart through a translucent belly. But how is this even possible? After years of study, scientists figured out the secrets of these tiny frogs found in tropical forests throughout Central and South America. They divert their blood into their livers to help them disappear, so all you see is their internal organs and nothing of their blood. Naturally, it is easier for fully aquatic creatures such as larvae and gelatinous jellyfish to go transparent, but terrestrial animals and those that straddle land and water have a tougher time going clear because light reflects differently through air than water. Another issue is blood. Red blood cells employ rust-tinted hemoglobin proteins that bind to oxygen. These proteins absorb light and give blood its crimson color, keeping skin opaque. Only Antarctic icefish, which inhabit the Southern Ocean's frigid depths, have done away with hemoglobin entirely, giving their blood a cloudy white color. The amazing thing about the glass frog is that at night, when breeding and feeding, it stays opaque, but during the day, while sleeping on leaves, most parts of its body except the lime-green hue of its back turn transparent. This ability helps the frog blend in like drops of dew, keeping it safe from spiders and snakes while it rests. Number 11. Irrawaddy dolphin. The Irrawaddy dolphin is a special type of dolphin to scientists and explorers, but to the Cham and Lao natives, the dolphin is even more special, and here's why. As the legend goes, there was once a girl whose parents married her away to what they thought was a wealthy deity disguised as a python. But it turned out that the python was just a python and proceeded to eat the poor girl. To rescue the girl, the snake's stomach was cut open, but she was, unsurprisingly, all covered in stinky slime. Unable to go on living with the slime, she tried to drown herself in the river, but instead turned into a beautiful dolphin, an animal no one knew existed before. According to researchers, the natives love this story because it shows the relationship between dolphins and humans, and thanks to that, the critically endangered population of dolphins has survived. Despite their legendary status, Irrawaddy dolphins face numerous threats, including habitat destruction, entanglement in fishing nets, and pollution. Conservationists have been working with local communities to implement fishing restrictions and create protected areas where these dolphins can thrive. Additionally, their unique social behavior sets them apart from many other dolphin species. Unlike their ocean-dwelling relatives, Irrawaddy dolphins prefer coastal and freshwater environments, forming small, close-knit pods that communicate and hunt cooperatively. Their interactions with fishermen in some regions are particularly fascinating, as they have been known to work alongside humans by driving fish into nets in exchange for a share of the catch. This rare, cooperative hunting method highlights the deep bond between the species and the people who share their waters. Looking at the Irrawaddy dolphin, one would say it is more related to the beluga because of their similarities. However, it is mostly related to the killer whale. Although the Irrawaddy dolphin's large melon and blunt, rounded head is a showstopper, its communication method is what makes it impressive. Communication is carried out with clicks, creaks, and buzzes at a dominant frequency of about 60 kHz, which is thought to be used for echolocation, a physiological process for locating distant objects. They also can squirt streams of water that can reach up to 1.5 meters, a distinct behavior that has been known for herding fish into a general area for hunting and expelling water ingested during fishing. Number 10. Saiga antelope. Forget about the chameleon's natural wardrobe. The saiga antelope is another animal that changes clothes often. Its coat appears yellow to red, fading toward the flanks in summer, and turns pale to grayish-brown in winter, with a hint of brown on the belly and the neck. And if you think you have seen it all, the Mongolian saiga can also develop a sandy color. However, the most distinctive feature of this creature is not even in its colors but its nose. This bizarre, bulbous appendage is an adaptation that enables the Mongolian saiga to survive the tough conditions and extreme seasonal temperature swings in its native habitat. The swollen nostrils filter out dust and cool the blood during hot and dry summers, while it acts as a radiator in winter to warm the cold air before it enters the saiga's lungs. Aside from its impressive wardrobe, the saiga is also known for its incredible speed and endurance. It can reach speeds of up to 50 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest animals in the Eurasian steppes. This speed is crucial for escaping predators like wolves and eagles that often target young saigas. Another fascinating fact is that the species has been around since the Ice Age, once roaming alongside mammoths and woolly rhinos. Despite its ancient lineage, the saiga faces critical threats today, with habitat loss and poaching driving its numbers dangerously low. Conservationists are working tirelessly to protect this quirky antelope, which plays a crucial role in maintaining the grassland ecosystems it calls home. Oh, did we mention that the saiga has a thick winter coat that it sheds when the weather warms up? This creature definitely has the perfect clothing for every season. Now it's time for today's topic. Deep in the annals of Australian folklore lies the tale of a terrifying sea creature known as the abyssal leviathan. Indigenous stories passed down for generations describe a massive, serpent-like beast with a gaping mouth full of jagged teeth and writhing tentacles that could drag entire ships into the ocean's depths. Known to haunt the treacherous waters of the southern coast, some claim to have seen it surface on stormy nights, its haunting red glow illuminating the sea like a beacon of dread. Local fishermen recounted chilling encounters, swearing they heard its guttural roars echo through the mist or saw its shadow glide ominously beneath their boats. Others dismissed these as mere myths or exaggerated tales born from fear of the unknown. But what if there's some truth to these stories? The image above is a computer-generated rendering created by marine researchers and folklore enthusiasts to recreate what the abyssal leviathan might look like based on descriptions from these ancient tales. While this creature doesn't exist, at least, as far as science knows, it serves as a chilling reminder of the mysteries that lie beneath our oceans. What do you think? Could such a creature have inspired these stories? Or is it all just fantasy? Number 9. Shoebill. The shoebill, also known as whalehead or shoe-billed stork, is a very large stork-like bird that easily explains the word, eerie. For starters, the shoebill is as tall as a human, at least the short humans, as it reaches up to 5 feet in height. Imagine meeting this creature in the middle of nowhere, staring at you with this sharp-edged, 1-foot-long bill. You'd definitely be scared. This menacing and prehistoric-looking bird stands still in swamps before lunging forward to swallow its prey whole with its giant bill. Talking about prey, a 2015 study shows that catfish were its most common prey, making up around 71% of its meals. However, the shoebill is also known to feast on eels, snakes, and even baby crocodiles. Most of the time, shoebills are solitary, but breeding pairs are monogamous, and they lay up to 3 eggs in a clutch. But crazily enough, due to rivalry between siblings, usually only one survives to adulthood. In most cases, the larger firstborn survives because it either outcompetes other siblings for food or kills them, while the second or third chicks are essentially spare chicks that serve as a backup in case the first doesn't survive. After survival, it takes a stork about 3 to 4 years to mature, and when it does, it means the time to begin a courtship. While most people think shoebills are noisy, they are actually socially quiet and can go for days without making any noise or sounds except for the flapping of their wings. However, when a shoebill does make a sound, it is indeed ground-shaking. This is most evidenced in the mating season when the male adult picks out its mate by making a resounding clap-like sound to attract a female of its choice while simultaneously scaring away any competitors and other small animals. Number 8. Vampire squid. It's easy to imagine the vampire squid as a thing of nightmares lurking in the deep sea, but in reality, it's a soft-bodied, passive creature about the size of a football. They have large eyes, proportionally the largest eye-to-body ratio of any animal in the world, and cloak-like webbing that stretches between 8 main arms, the insides of which are covered with fleshy spikes. Some eyes are located on the lower half of the filamentous arms, with the 5th pair longer than the total length of the body, possessing an ability to retract into pockets in the webbing. Scientists named this animal Vampiroteuthis infernalis, which means vampire squid from hell, but this name is misleading. It's not a squid at all. It sits alone in phylum Mollusca as the only living member of the family Vampiroteuthidea, and it does not suck blood at all. Instead, being a detritivore, meaning it eats dead organic material, and that's not the only time the animal was misunderstood. The vampire squid has a history of misclassification when it was discovered in 1903, when it was classified as a type of cirrate octopus since it has webbing between its arms and a pair of fins on its mantle. In the 1940s and 1950s, however, scientists determined that it was neither an octopus nor a squid but part of a different group based on its unique features. As mentioned earlier, one of the vampire squid's most striking characteristics is its large eyes. The eyes usually glow bright blue in videos, but they're not actually blue. A vampire squid's eyes are clear, but when illuminated by the remotely operated vehicle's lights, they reflect the surrounding water and appear blue. They have different ways of warding off their predators, from pulling their arms up and over the body, shrouding themselves in their cloak-like web, to ejecting a luminous mucus cloud. And if any of the vampire squid's arms get broken or bitten off while trying to escape, it can regenerate almost immediately, automatically saving it from being eaten. Number 7. Deep in the caves of Slovenia and Croatia lives an animal blinded by thriving in darkness. It's the olm, a cave-dwelling salamander also called the proteus and the human fish for its pale pinkish skin. It has spent so long adapting to life in caves that it's mostly blind, hunting instead with various supersenses, including the ability to sense electricity. One of the amazing facts about this creature is that it never grows up, retaining its youthful look from its sweet 16 up to about 100 years. Because of its small, snake-like body, it was once described as a baby dragon, but it has no business whatsoever with land or fire as it is fully aquatic. Despite its eerie, ghostly appearance, the olm is an efficient predator, using its heightened senses to detect tiny vibrations in the water, helping it locate unsuspecting prey. It primarily feeds on small invertebrates, such as tiny crustaceans and insect larvae, and can go months without eating due to its incredibly slow metabolism. In fact, when food is scarce, olms have been known to reabsorb their own tissues for sustenance, allowing them to survive in extreme conditions. Scientists have also found that these creatures have an exceptional ability to regenerate body parts, including limbs and even parts of their brain, making them one of nature's most resilient survivors. Furthermore, their longevity is thought to be linked to their low-energy lifestyle and an ability to minimize cellular damage, helping them evade the typical effects of aging. While the olm can't see its prey because it goes blind as it grows, its skin detects the presence of light and even has heightened smell and hearing, even possibly the ability to sense electric and magnetic fields. Perhaps the most unusual trait possessed by the olm is the ability to live long. Not just live long but live long without food. Olms can remain alive and well in a still position for up to 10 years, and despite this, they only reproduce once or twice in a decade, which makes them limited in number. Number 6. Tardigrade. If you're asked to name the toughest animal on Earth, you probably would have mentioned some animals that have showcased incredible strength and resilience on Nat Geo Wild. In that case, you must be shocked to know that the toughest animal on the planet is a microscopic animal known as the tardigrade, or call it the water bear. Only measuring 0.5 millimeter in length, they can be found everywhere as they live in the water layer of mosses and lichens that encircles the globe. Back in 1773, when it was discovered, it was named Little Water Bear because of its particular gait, similar to that of the bear. A shocking fact, however, is that the tardigrade has legs to walk, as small as it is, making it the smallest animal with legs. Some species of tardigrades can survive without water for years, perhaps decades, endure extreme temperatures from over 100 degrees Celsius to minus 272 degrees below zero, and withstand pressures of 6,000 atmospheres. They also survive radiation hundreds of times more powerful than the lethal dose for humans and even tolerate prolonged exposure to the vacuum of outer space. The latter ability was proven in 2007 when European and Russian space agencies sent the Photon M3 probe into space with a group of dehydrated tardigrades. The creatures not only survived but retained their reproductive capacity. Since then, they have been recognized as the most resilient animals on the planet. According to reports, tardigrades have been able to survive freezing by going into a state of suspended animation known as cryptobiosis, a process by which they slow down all metabolic processes to 0.01% of normal and reduce their water content to 3% so that ice crystals do not destroy them. Number 5. Yeti crab. For so many years, we all have wondered if there was a real-life Yeti. And of course, researchers have been everywhere looking for proof. What if we told you they've been looking in the wrong place all this while? Now, a real-life Yeti has been found. Not in the mountains or the woods but in the depths of the ocean. Meet the Yeti with a difference. One look at this creature, and you can't argue its name. From its arms to its legs, it's all covered up in hair that's the same color we believe the Yeti has. The Yeti crab was discovered back in 2005 on the floor of the Pacific Ocean near Easter Island, and since then, scientists have spotted more Yeti crabs living about 7,200 feet below the ocean surface. Most often, they live near areas where warm water is flowing out of the seafloor, and this warm water is not just to keep them warm but works with the crab's hairy arms to keep the crabs safe and alive. How so? Scientists have observed that the crabs hold their hairy arms over the warm water vent openings to catch bacteria from the vents in their thick bristles. The truth is, Yeti crabs need these bacteria more than you can imagine, as they help the crabs detoxify poisonous minerals from the water emitted by the hydrothermal vent. Sounds like a cool buddy, yeah? Funnily enough, they don't keep these bacteria just so they can be friends for long but instead eat them up when they are hungry. But before you think the Yeti crab's menu is boring, take a second look. They also feed on mussels from the seafloor, offering them varieties to choose from. Number 4. Thorny devil. Now, this is one of the animals that actually look as scary as their names. Thankfully, this creature only averages 8 inches long. We wouldn't have been able to convince you that it actually doesn't harm humans. The first part of the devil's scientific name, Moloch, comes from a Canaanite god who demanded the sacrifice of children. The second part, horridus, means horrible or causing horror. It's obvious that John Gray, the zoologist who named the lizard, wasn't a fan. This is because the thorny devil is not actually devilish, except for the tiny ants it feeds on. The thorny devil lives in the arid inland deserts of Australia, which average less than 10 inches of rain for the entire year. And to make the most of any available moisture, the lizard has evolved a network of grooves in its skin that channel water toward the corners of its mouth. These grooves are so narrow that the water is pulled along solely by capillary action, allowing the devil to harvest water from even the scantest morning dew. While this animal goes about terrorizing ants, it lives in fear of predators that would swallow it once on sight. For this reason, the lizard has a curious knob on its neck, which is used as a false head meant to deceive predators. When a thorny devil feels threatened, it will curl its real head between its front legs, leaving the false one exposed to attack. Another defense mechanism is the inflation of its chest with air to appear bigger and harder for a predator to swallow. A kind of look that says, "Beware, I am the thorny devil." Number 3. Leafy sea dragon. Floating seaweed, maybe just a floating weed in water. These are the answers that would pop up in your mind after seeing this creature. But no, it is not a kelp, neither is it a weed, but a sea carnivore. A creature perfect for the epithet master of camouflage. Meet the leafy sea dragon, also known as leafy or glauert sea dragon, found in the marine regions of southern and western Australia. When you look at their ornate, leaf-shaped appendages, which reveal a striking resemblance to the dragon, it becomes evident why they are called leafy sea dragons. Amazingly, their colors change according to their diet and location, and this diet, including mysid shrimps, larval fish, zooplankton, and small crustaceans, also depends on their location. Even more fascinating, leafy sea dragons have a unique mode of movement. Unlike many other fish, they don't rely on large fins or rapid swimming. Instead, they move with small, nearly invisible pectoral fins, allowing them to drift gracefully through the water like floating seaweed. This slow, deliberate movement enhances their camouflage, making them nearly undetectable to both predators and prey. Additionally, they share a remarkable trait with their seahorse relatives. It's the males that carry and nurture the eggs. After the female lays her eggs onto the male's tail, he incubates them for about 9 weeks before they hatch. This rare reproductive strategy ensures a higher survival rate for the young. Unfortunately, despite their incredible adaptations, leafy sea dragons face threats from habitat destruction and illegal capture for the aquarium trade, leading conservationists to push for stronger protections. They use their long, thin snouts to catch their victims and suck them up because they have no teeth that can be used to grind their food. Talking about food, the leafy sea dragons eat slowly and frequently, and that's because they don't have a digestive system to store food. However, life in the sea is pretty easy for the leafy sea dragon as they prey on other sea creatures, but they rarely get preyed on because of their perfect camouflage that makes them look really inedible to potential predators. Number 2. Star-nosed mole. This guy must have been so confident back in 2022 after he ate 44 Raising Cane's chicken fingers in 5 minutes. Let somebody tell him his competitor is not even a human but this very rare creature, the star-nosed mole. Yes, it's a mole, one of the 39 mole species in the world, but the most unusual of them all, thanks to its star-shaped nose. Just like other moles, star-nosed moles are small mammals with cylindrical bodies, stocky limbs, and large spade-like forepaws used to dig networks of tunnels through the earth. They also have a scaly tail and short, waterproof fur that's dark brown-black on top and lighter on the belly. But best believe that the tail isn't the first thing you notice but its unusual nose. With this weird-looking nose, they not only smell a lot in their surroundings but also touch. This makes it confusing whether to call the organ a nose or a hand. There are 25,000 supersensitive microscopic touch organs called Eimer's organs covering the 22 rays of the nose, and each of these organs contains 100,000 nerve endings. Despite the nose only being about 1 centimeter across, this extremely high concentration of Eimer's organs gives the star-nosed mole the best sense of touch of any mammal. By comparison, the human hands only have 177,000 nerve endings. The biggest misconception about this animal is that it is blind, but that's not true. Although the mole's eyes are tiny, they can see clearly. But the most astonishing trait of this creature is its eating speed. It requires just 8 milliseconds to identify an unfortunate bug and only 200 milliseconds to eat it, making it the fastest eater in the world. Number 1. Goblin shark. We don't know what the creepiest fish you have seen is, but if it's not the goblin shark, you definitely haven't seen creepy. The goblin shark is set to creep you out with its long, prominent snout covered in specific detecting organs that allow it to detect electric fields in the deep, dark water it lives in. It also has a distinctive color that ranges from pinkish gray to purplish gray with vivid blue at the fin's edges. On the other hand, its jaw is even stranger, as it can be extended to the length of the goblin shark's nose to help it ambush fish, squids, and crustaceans. When feeding in this manner, the goblin shark looks like something out of an alien movie rather than a shark, as its jaw can even extend up to its head. Its teeth are another unsettling feature. Long, thin, and needle-like, they are perfectly designed to grasp slippery prey and prevent escape. Unlike other sharks that rely on speed to catch their meals, the goblin shark uses stealth and suction power, pulling its prey straight into its ghastly, protruding mouth. They can grow to over 12 feet in length and weigh up to 460 pounds, making them quite an imposing deep-sea predator. However, despite their eerie appearance and hunting skills, Goblin sharks are relatively sluggish creatures, moving slowly through the water due to their soft, flabby bodies. Scientists believe this slow-moving nature is an adaptation to their deep-sea environment, where energy conservation is crucial for survival. As much as you'd love to know more about this animal, they are rarely seen in the wild and nearly never filmed. Most of what scientists have told us about them comes from their inadvertent capture in fisheries aimed at other species. In the meantime, you can hold on to identifying the creepiest fish in the world. Which of these newly discovered creatures shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.